Lawrence Junan.
Madam Chair, thank you so much.
Thank you.
As the chair of the Select Committee mentioned before, it has been a challenging year for broadcasting and media, but I think in this case more so for Māori and Pasifika media. So in the annual reports of TVNZ and also for RNZ, so it is good to see in these reports that TVNZ's annual report states that TVNZ is committed to reflecting and advancing Te Ao Māori and Te Reo Māori. And for RNZ, there's been a 12% increase in the number of broadcasting hours of Māori content compared to the previous year. However, Minister and Madam Chair, we know that there is still inequality and inequity in the media industry. Non-Māori media receive $70 per hour for broadcasted media, whereas Māori media receives only $30 an hour for equivalent content. And in addition to that, we also see that advertisers in this particular case also view Māori media as niche and serving only a limited audience, despite the enormous audience they now do present for both Māori and non-Māori alike. So my question to the minister is, how would the minister address this gap in the cost and in the funding between non-Māori and Māori media?
Look, I think the only point I'd make at the start is that I think it's widely agreed that parts of the media industry across the country and indeed across the world are struggling with a very rapid transition in the way that people get their news and their information, because there's no question that it's obvious, blindingly obvious to everybody that people's habits have changed dramatically over the last few years in the way that we collect our information, what we look at on screens, how we gather the daily information that we get. Print and TV media have had a more challenging environment of late, particularly because of the drop-off in revenue from advertising, and that is partly largely as a response from competition from online offerings. It's also a reflection of the relatively difficult trading environment that we see across the country as a result of, frankly, and well, I don't want to get off piste, Madam Chair, but a very difficult economic environment that we've inherited as a new government, where we've had low growth, and so people have been struggling with the cost of living, with inflation, and higher interest rates, and so people don't have as much money to spend at the moment, and that's why this government has this overwhelming priority of focus on economic growth and rebuilding the economy, getting inflation out of control, and restoring higher incomes, putting some money back in people's pockets. And so media context, just like every element of business, will benefit from that to the extent to which we as a country succeed. And so I picked up this.
Unless I'm mistaken, there's no minister in the House. Oh, there's a minister in the chair, of course.
Thank you very much.
Yes, well there is.
Well, good counting. Well, thank you for that interruption. I was giving a survey of the situation, and so as a new minister, I'm obviously working my way through the process of meeting as many people in the industry as I can. And look, I think there are two challenges, as well as the economic sustainability of parts of the media, which is continuing to be challenging, although I have every confidence in the ability of the many businesses operating in this area to adapt. And we're seeing actually over the last few weeks where we had very difficult times of retrenchment and redundancy, and particularly in some of the TV and news hub, but we're already seeing some new options being developed, and so we as a government, of course, don't want to get in the way of that and to confuse that in any way. But another challenge, of course, across the broad media landscape is a challenge that, again, which is a global one, which is around trust issues. And so when we're conscious of looking back over the last period, the government did make investments into the various funds, and that, frankly, is challenging because people do worry about that and what impact that has on the media trust situation. And so any changes or any ideas that we're considering in the context of the media, we have to be very mindful of the impact that has on perceptions, and so we're very mindful of that. It's been a big change in New Zealand's habits in terms of what they're watching, and we've seen the rapid development of online streamers, Netflix being the largest, but a number of others. And so there is an open question as how can we ensure that those big companies continue to invest and invest in New Zealand production and New Zealand stories. And I don't want to certainly overpromise on that area, but we've certainly got to have those conversations and see if we can improve the current situation. So that's some of the issues. Looking back in terms of the annual review, I am mindful of the fact that we've had over the last year, we had $19.6 million spent by the previous minister on his failed merger of TVNZ and RNZ, and so we're mindful of that, and we don't want to be making those sorts of mistakes further down the line.